Welcome back to Westmoreland on the Gridiron. I'm Sean Meyers, joined by the first-year head coach of the Yough Cougars, Benny Hoffer, fresh off of his first head coaching victory this past week, 14-0 against Charleroi. And Benny, the first question is, what was that feeling like for you personally after you got your first career head coaching win?
Thanks for having me, Sean. It was really, really cool. The student section was all chanting for us, and defense played really well with a shutout. It was really exciting. We just did a couple things at the end with a couple of penalties I did not like, but I mean, it was so exciting to get the first win and hopefully first of many there at Cougar Mountain for me.
What did the players maybe do for you after the game had ended? Was there a lot of congratulations that went around?
There was actually a student section kind of lined up and they started chanting my name. So that was pretty neat. And then I walked through them and gave them high fives and stuff. So that was pretty cool. And the kids were just all excited. They sang the alma mater and everything. It was a really touching moment and a special night up there.
So let's rewind a little bit prior to that, because you had two losses before your first victory. First game of the season was a home one, though. I would imagine that walking out onto that field to start the game, that was also something significant. Did it hit you any differently when you first walked out there officially as the head coach for your first game and it happened to be a home game on Cougar Mountain?
Yeah, it definitely was a different feeling. I was so used to being a player there, and then you go out there with the caps and stuff and start talking to the refs and a little different feel. And then South Allegheny goes backwards on the first drive. It was 4th and 46, and I'm thinking, oh, my goodness, this is going to be great. But obviously we didn't get the better of them. But it was a great experience, and I've learned from it, and I will continue to learn in the future.
I know that you were pretty happy with the defense. Offense has been a little bit of a struggle. You have just 4 touchdowns this season. What have you liked in particular on the defensive side of the football through 3 contests?
My defense coordinator, Joey Corper, he played with me. He does a really good job. He's very fierce and very physical as a person, and as a player, he was the same thing. And he's bringing that mantra and that mindset to the kids and just teaching physicality, okay, how to be hit and then getting to the ball, pursuit and stuff like that. Joey does a great job of it. And obviously I kept telling the kids if they can't score, obviously they can't win. And they bought into that. And it showed on Friday night.
Yeah, you get the shutout and you got a couple of touchdowns as well. And they've all been by the same player. Gavin Roebuck has had a terrific start to your season. And he's done so by sort of adapting midstream to a couple of different spots. He was the quarterback primarily a year ago. You wanted to maybe move him to different positions this year. And it only took about a game before he went back to quarterback. But I know that he is a dual threat. As I said, he has all 4-year touchdowns. And he just seems like a super intelligent and mature young man. What do you like most about him?
He always gets us in the right place. So if I have a couple options of the play, Gavin can always know which way to run it. He's very hard to take down. He's a very, very hard runner. And JJ and Raiden are also running the ball very well, and they're blocking. They're opening up some holes for him, but his individual effort, I mean, he has 300 yards on the ground already, 4 touchdowns. I mean, he's being a great leader, great captain. Hopefully we get somebody else in the end zone this week and we start spreading the wealth around a little bit.
Well, you mentioned the name Raiden. He started as your quarterback and now has shifted to running back. How has he handled that transition? And do you still see maybe him as a long-term solution at that position?
He's embracing it. He really loves to hit. He loves running the ball north and south. Depends on if my freshman quarterback can step up this offseason to see if Raiden would have to go back to quarterback or stay at running back. But for this year, Raiden's loving running back. He gets the ball still. He loves contact and loves hitting people, so he can open up some holes for Gavin and JJ along the way.
Let's maybe look a little bit bigger picture for Yough. So you come back to your alma mater. You obviously had a great career there. You were the all-time leading rusher until a guy named Dustin Schoaf came along and broke that record. But when you think of Yough football over the past handful of years, it has been a struggle. So when you took this job, what did you have in terms of goals short-term and then long-term as well?
The short term, I told the kids this week, is this could be the first 2-game winning streak that Yough football's had in about 5 or 6 years. I know it doesn't sound very impressive to a lot of people, but it's a step in the right direction for the program. We could be 1-0 in conference, which is a very good short-term goal for the team. With Derry coming up, Derry's a very tough team. We can't take anything for granted, obviously. We got to keep playing. Long-term, obviously, would be the win a conference. And it's been 13, 14 years since I was a senior that we won one. That would be my long-term goal, but I know that's not going to happen overnight. We got to get people in the weight room, get people buying into the program, and I believe it can happen, and I know it can happen at Yough.
I interview a lot of coaches, and usually new coaches talk about how they have to change the culture. Now, obviously, ideally, if you take over a successful program, you just keep that in place. But for a Cougars team that you mentioned, it's been a long, long time since they've had some winning tradition. You do kind of have to change the culture. So it's easy to say that, probably a lot harder to accomplish that. What are some of maybe the specific steps that you have to take, and how long does something like that typically last?
I mean, obviously it helps with the midgets. I communicate with my midget coach very well for the feeder program. Middle school, I have about 28 kids out, which is improving from last year. Just changing their mindset is a big thing. And like even last week, we were up 14-0 against Charleroi, and we had the ball and it's 3rd and 7. We get a first down, but we get a 15-yard personal foul. They got to turn it on how to win. You know what I mean? Most of these kids only won 4 games of football in 4 years. You know what I mean? So they're just not used to it. And obviously in the weight room can't be overstated in the off season. People got to be there, buy in. And I think obviously as winning occurs, it's easier to get people out for a winner. You know what I mean? So I think as we win, I think more numbers will happen.
Talking to Benny Hoffer, first-year head coach for the Cougars here on Westmoreland on the Gridiron. Well, you mentioned back to your playing days, and it's not that long ago, but we're now beyond a decade. When you think back, do you maybe consider what you really enjoyed and want to make sure your players experience that same thing? And do you also look at it like, well, this wasn't a great experience, I want to make sure that I don't have my guys now in that same position? Are you able to reflect upon your personal experiences and apply it to coaching?
I'm really a big guy on having fun during the game, just having fun. You make a mistake, don't think about it. Football's great. You got the next play to make up for it. That's really what I preach at practice is let's have fun. And obviously the kids know that I had success there. So it's pretty easy once I talk that they're all ears. Like Gavin was running the ball really well on last week. And I said, Gavin, I really appreciate that from doing it in the past. And it's just, I'm all about having fun. I know there's a thing you want to win, but these kids, they're kids. Let's have fun out there and see if we can get a couple dubs.
Well, to expand upon that, you talk about having fun. Is there anything unique or interesting that you've sort of brought, a tradition you're trying to build, or maybe some little nuances that you've added to this team to try to, lighten the mood, make it more enjoyable, maybe allow them to kind of do something other than just focus on wins and losses?
We're going to do this thing on Thursdays after the walkthrough. It's called skill, the kids call it. They throw a football and try to hit the goalpost. So maybe that'll get their minds off of the game a little bit after we're done game planning for Derry, and just bring a little bit more fun to it and get more kids involved is mainly what I want to do. I want to get everyone involved. We had a nice student section, nice crowd Friday, and I'm hoping that we can get more people up there on Cougar Mountain.
Now, do you have your linemen also throwing the footballs, trying to hit the goalposts?
Linemen, I think I'm going to do what I did in college. I think I'm going to have Sarver punt the ball and see if they drop the punts. That's always a good one. We always did that in college. Is we punted and the linemen had to try to catch them.
I just did a Q&A feature with Scotty Hausman, former Yough Cougar and a massive offensive lineman now at Albany. And I was reading a story and researching that I guess during maybe a 7-on-7, he actually took some snaps at quarterback back in his day, which I can only imagine seeing him lining up and throwing the football around the arm. But he's a good baseball player, so maybe he would be able to show off the arm a little bit. Talking about a guy like that, we mentioned Dustin Schoaf. How important is it for you to get some of the former Yough Cougars, especially the ones who did go on to have success, to come back every now and then if possible, embrace this program and help maybe add to the credibility that you're trying to bring to it?
Yeah, actually, you mentioned Scotty. I played with his older brother, and Scotty's been texting me every game, wishing me good luck, and I've wished him good luck. He said Baylor was tough, obviously, but he wishes me good luck every week, tells me to keep the kids in the right direction. You mentioned Schoaf. He was there in the offseason a couple times, asking how the program's doing and everything, and a couple players from my brother, Sedno and Wilson, all them, they're all interested to see how we're doing. Like, they want us to succeed, and that definitely helps whenever you bring back people that have had success in the program. And the kids realize, oh, he can go there. I can go D1 if I work hard, and I'm good enough.
Let's focus a little bit on Derry area. So you're playing a Westmoreland County opponent, and the Trojans, you mentioned, is now a conference matchup. And these are two teams previously that have been in 3A, have now dropped down. When you look at them, they also have a new coach in Mike Arone. What stands out about Derry area in particular?
Oh, well coached, a lot better than last year. I mean, the guy's done a great job, in my opinion. And tough runner, 22 is a tough runner. Number 11 is good. Quarterback can throw the ball. They're a very big team. I think he's number 63. He's huge. He's about 6'4", 330. They're very big, they're very physical, and they're very, very well coached and organized. A lot different than obviously whenever I played them last year against East Allegheny. It's going to be a battle, and we just have to come out and execute the game plan, which I hope our kids do well.
And so you mentioned the game plan. What are the biggest keys to have success and get that victory?
I mean, cliche, don't turn the ball over, play good field position. We did a really good job in the kicking game last week. Special teams has played a good factor. We downed a punt at the 1 and then stopped Charleroi. They had to punt it. We got a 20, 30-yard field. That would be huge. And we got to tackle. 22 runs hard. Got to tackle them, got to bring them down, got to get people to the ball. Everyone come to the ball. And a defense plays like that again. I like our chances up there on Friday.
Final thing, obviously you played at Yough and had success, and now you come back and you're coaching at your alma mater. What makes Yough so special to you?
It's just a different feel whenever I walk on the stadium up at Cougar Mountain. I bleed orange and green, you know what I mean? It's my home. It's where I grew up. It's where I lived for 27 years. It's special to me in that kind of way that a lot of people it's not to, that just see scores and see Yough go downhill. And I'm really, really taking pride in turning this program around. And I know we will get to the point that we can get it turned around, buddy.
Well, Benny, congratulations on win number 1. Hopefully it's the first of many, many throughout your coaching career at Yough.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Sean.
All right. Benny Hoffer, first-year head coach of the Cougars. We'll take a break and continue right after this on Westmoreland on the Gridiron.